Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you for joining me for this video. And we have some news from the New Orleans Saints, some very interesting news as Lorenzo Neal Jr., a defensive tackle out of Purdue, has finally landed with a team that has signed him as an undrafted rookie, and that's with the New Orleans Saints. And so an interesting thing about Lorenzo Neal Jr. is that his father was a four-time Pro Bowler in the NFL with the then San Diego Chargers, now LA Chargers. He was a fullback. He blocked for LaDainian Tomlinson, among many other running backs that they had, including at some point being on the same team as guys such as Darren Sproles, Michael Turner. At one point in time, the Chargers had like all three running backs on the same team. So they had a very deep team, but he definitely served as a tremendous fullback throughout his time in the NFL. So definitely one of the more respected locker room figures and definitely played a huge role in LaDainian Tomlinson's career for sure. And that being said, the New Orleans Saints, they gave him his first chance in the NFL. So now they're also doing the same thing with his son, the defensive lineman from Purdue, having just signed him as of May the 16th. And so during his collegiate career, injuries did derail what looked like a very promising career for him. Going back to the 2018 college football season, where he was regarded by many as one of the best defensive linemen in the country. But he suffered a torn ACL. And you know how those torn ACLs can do that really messes a player up. Some guys are never really the same after that. It takes a lot to really come back from that. And that 6'3", 335 pounds, and that's a lot of weight to also add on top of that. And so really just, getting back in shape, that took, well, just getting back to form, I should say, that really took a lot of effort and showed that he, has a lot of resilience to him to be able to do that. But it forced him, to end his season and miss the entire 2019 season. And so he returned to the field this past year. Obviously, being a part of the Big Ten, you don't get as large of a sample size this past season due to everything that happened with COVID. So now he's just looking for an opportunity, and the Saints gave him an opportunity, just as they did his dad 28 years prior. So this has the potential to be a very nice, heartwarming story here. So he definitely understands that all he needed was a chance. I mean, coming out, he was highly regarded, as one of the best defensive linemen in the country. So definitely understand, when he was declaring for the draft, obviously I'm sure that he would have liked to get drafted, and then to have to wait this long when many other guys went, so early after going undrafted, they got calls and signed. I'm sure they had to work on his, well, just really on your mental state in that point, but to not give up and to keep persevering, that's what this kid's doing. It's what's going to continue to do if he wants to fight this uphill battle. And this is a great pickup here by the New Orleans Saints, to be able to get a guy who has this kind of potential. Obviously, the biggest thing for Lorenzo Neal Jr. is going to be recovering fully, being 100%. And then from there, just, I feel if he's 100%, then yeah, this turned out to be one of the bigger steals when you look back at it from years to come. In terms of, you'll be wondering why nobody drafted him and why it took so long for him to sign. But that being said, though, all you need is a chance, and he's definitely got that right now. So certainly looking forward to seeing what he can do. In terms of production at the college level, in terms of stats, we have a total of 48 solo tackles, 24 assists, so a total of 72 tackles, 13 tackles for a loss, and 4 sacks throughout his time, as well as a fumble recovery throughout his time, and 4 forced fumbles throughout Purdue. And that's going back from the entire body of work from 2016 to 2020, but also taking into account that 2016 really didn't play that much, obviously, as a freshman, and then 2019 that was just forgone due to that ACL injury, as well as parts of 2018 as well. So it could have been even more than that, and plus a short 2020 season. So he's got a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see if he does, get the opportunity to reach that potential, and hopefully, that ACL doesn't derail his entire career, as this would be a great story. But that being said, thank you so much for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, as more news continues to drop, you can be sure to find it here. So thanks again for watching, and have a great night.